Alright, what up everybody, and welcome to the tech channel. Man, this car is creeping. Big shout out to Mila wherever you are in the universe. Big shout out to Razortron wherever you may be, somewhere over there in the greenery. He said where he is. What up, son? Big up my New Hampshire neighbor, Marty Mart, holding it down. And big shout out to Bretsky holding down Arlington, Massachusetts, and Rob Bass, and of course the carpenter, Orville Bredenbacher. Alright, let's go. Now, I gave someone some bad advice. My boy hit me up. He's been in a relationship 17 or 20 years with someone. And she bounced and she was gone for like a year and some change. Now, she had a kid. Whew. Now, my boy was just like, yo, what should I do? We just started talking. And I was like, well, I don't know. How did it end? And he was like, well, she wanted to get married and all this stuff. It didn't happen. And, you know, because he was like, hey, you know, we've been together for so long. We're just going to be together. We don't need to do like the whole whatever. So basically, you know, she kind of just got swept off her feet by, as they say, another Prince Charming, like, we'll do it. And next thing you know, she got pregnant and she was out, and now she is single. So now she's just like, hey, how you doing? You know, and blah, 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 blah. Now my boy is like, oh man, I can't believe this, because my boy was trying to reach out to her, talk to her, but she was already hell-bent on leaving. All right? So there's really nothing much you can do about that. Now, my boy was asking me because I was in the same similar situation where, you know, I was with someone and they just bounced. You know, they were just like, hey, you know, we're going to do this or we're not. And I guess I took too long to answer and that person was long gone. All right, without question. Now, I reached out to the person like twice. No response. I mean, they responded, but it was like, you know, those responses where they're like, you know, they don't want to talk to you. And that's basically about that. You know, so, oh man, this truck is 9 inches. Wow, there's a truck like stopped at the bridge. Like, I don't think he can make it. Anyway, so basically what happened, the cops just came. All right, so basically, he's like, you know, she never tried to rap to him. She never tried to talk to him. Sorry, there's like so much going on. I'm looking all over the place. And all that. Now, generally, when a person leaves, there's already somebody else in place, unfortunately. That's like the golden rule. That's like number one. If that was like Family Feud, survey says there's someone else. There's always someone else. Never let anyone tell you there's no one else. There's always someone else. All right? Now, with that being said, my boy was like, well, what happened with you? And I was like, well, you know, the person just bounced, tried to hit up the person once, twice, I think maybe even 3 times. And you can just tell when someone doesn't want to be bothered with you. Now, that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means like they just want something different in life. If you end on a good note, or if the person just abruptly bounces, you know, or whatever the case may be. But however, if it's on a good note, it's on a good note. It's not like, you know, if somebody was robbed or beat up or something like that, or whatever the case may be. Now, in his situation, similar thing. That's why I think he, you know, confided in me. But I don't think I gave him good advice. I think I just should have listened and shut up. That's probably what I should have done. Now, my thing is, you know, if you're in that type of relationship, 17, 20 years, I mean, that's a long time. And that's why I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I was with a person for a minute. And at that point, you know, you're kind of, you know, your soul and your love and your heart and everything is like intertwined. You're with that person. It doesn't matter regardless of your status. You are with that person. You feel it, every part of your bone. You know what I mean? But sometimes that's not good enough for some people. Some people, they need to go that extra step because everybody else has. It is what it is. Now he's like, what should I do? You know, the chick realized like, hey, you know, deep down, she wanted to be with the dude. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, would you take your chick back? And I would have to say, that's probably might be a hard yeah. You know, that's basically about it. Sometimes, listen, love is love. It doesn't matter, you know, what happens, you know, unless it's something crazy, you know, like if the chick came back with 2 or 3 kids, I'd be like, you know, and that's what I was telling him, which again, I probably shouldn't have said. I should have just be quiet and listen, because at the end of the day, when somebody's trying to get some advice from you, sometimes saying less is more. You know what I mean? Now, in this particular situation right here, I couldn't really give him proper advice because, again, I don't know why someone just stopped talking to me. They just stopped talking to me because they do, and they may say like, hey, well, there's nobody else, but come on, there's somebody else. All right. And that person may just need to go out and experiment and just be involved with somebody else, see what life is like. And most times they're going to, find it better, or even if they have the remote chance of thinking, well, let me go back, they're probably just not going to do it, unless there's some sort of communication there. And like I was telling him, I had like zero communication, and he said he had very little communication himself. Now, I don't know what little communication he is. I can actually count my communication was like 1 or 2, definitely under 3. All right. And that's basically about it. So I was just telling him like, yo, if the lady means something to you, you know what I'm saying? Despite her being out, being married, divorced, kid, whatever the case may be, then just go for it. Because at the end of the day, man, I honestly think like, if people are supposed to be together, it just takes that one moment for them to get back together or stay together if you lost it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if that opportunity pops up, you got to take it. If not, just, you don't. And that's what I told him. I was like, well, I don't know. That's something for you to decide. You know what I'm saying? If the lady means something to you, then, go for it. And if she doesn't, then, don't. But in this particular case, the lady does mean something to him. Yeah, she's coming back with a kid. And, that may crush you to some extent because you're just like, oh, man. But, here's your opportunity. You're getting back the person from 17, 20 years. You know what I mean? So, A, you do it. B, you don't. And that's about it. So that's the best advice I could give the dude. Unfortunately, I think I shouldn't have said nothing at all. I should have just listened and been like, oh, and that's basically about it. Because sometimes, man, if people see that you had a bad outcome, they might start to think like, yeah, nah, it's probably not worth it. Why should I? And that's basically about that. So I just hit him back this morning just to tell him like, yo, man, if that's the love of your life, man, go for it, son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she came back with some baggage. It is what it is, and he didn't answer. And then I called him back at 7:35 and I left him a message. And I was like, yo, man, trying to, amp him up. I'm like, yo, despite of what's going on, if you love this chick, she came back with a kid, yo, just go for it and just be happy, and that's basically about that. And I told him that's exactly what I would do. So hopefully, from what I said yesterday, from what I said today, hopefully that amped dude up and he's able to go back here and, think about it. Because sometimes, you get that second chance, and, you got to go for it. How many times you meet somebody and they got kids and all of a sudden you're with that person forever? Now, that never happened to me, but I'm just saying in general, I know some people who it did happen to, where they in relationships with people and they've been with them forever in a decade and they got kids. So what? Yeah, it sucks, but, but hey, it is what it is. All right. Anyway, with that being said, I'm out. And just remember, everybody, life is short. So spend it with somebody that you really want to be with rather than, sitting there angry because that person decided like, oh man, I'm going to do something else because I couldn't do it with you. Because we all make mistakes, and that's basically about it. So with that being said, just remember, people, people that saying less is sometimes more. All right, putting on my mask, going to the store. Peace out.